based on my understanding of the definition of domestic violence, is violence in the home by someone resident in your home. So if an elder is being abused in their home or wherever they live by someone from that environment, then it would be a domestic violence issue. I haven't experienced elder abuse in my life. I haven't seen it in my family circle, and I can't say that I know of any cases specifically of elders abuse. So if it is a problem, it is hidden from me. My guess is that there probably are cases that I'm not aware of where elders are being abused based on the instances that have come to light of the abuse of children in the home. They say once a man and twice a child. So if there are so many cases of abuse of little children, young children, I would guess there probably are many cases of the abuse of elders who can be considered in some cases adult children. I don't think anybody would like to be abused. And anytime you're being abused, it can't be a good thing, you know. So it definitely have an impact, you know. It lessens the quality of your life when people treat you poorly, whether physically or emotionally. You know, by nature, abuse is something bad. So I feel bad if I were being abused. You know, I've seen people being abused. I've maybe even experienced certain levels of abuse myself. So it's not a stretch to imagine that I wouldn't like it. Really and truly, if I were in that situation as an elderly person, and the people who are meant to be taking care of me were treating me poorly, abusing me, is there an agency you can call? Is there, you know, like there are hotlines for abused children or hotlines for abused women? I guess I would have to call one of them and say, listen, I'm being abused too, help me out. But, you know, just like sometimes a child may not be able to articulate what's happening to them, an abused person, if they're suffering from Alzheimer's or dementia, may not be able to articulate what's going on in their life and may not be able to tell anybody and cry for help. So it's easy to say what I would do, but sometimes it's not that simple. I would hope that someone around me would know what to do. I think that what qualifies as these terms, beating and abuse, are cultural terms. So what's abuse in one culture may not be considered abuse in another. And where some people may say, you know, you're beating your mother. Some people may say, I'm not beating her, just give her a little tap. Whereas someone may wake up in the morning and they may not say, I'm going to abuse my mother or my wife or my child or whoever, but I'm going to discipline them. And what they consider discipline may be, in our cultural context, be seen as abuse. So you're right, I guess. No one considers themselves an abuser, even though to us looking on, what they're doing may constitute abuse. So sensitization and education and clarification of what is abuse and what is not abuse is going to be very important. And then there's the issue of other persons. So what may be considered acceptable treatment to a child may be considered abuse of an adult. So it gets fuzzy, because when my child wets himself or herself, the society may condone you tapping that child because they're wetting themselves as a means to getting them to stop. You grow up and you get older, you may find an elder may wet themselves, and that child who was hit for wetting themselves when they were 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 may see it as acceptable to hit the elder who is 60 or 70 or 80 or 90 when they wet themselves as a means of discipline, as a means of getting them to stop. Was it abuse when they were 7? Is it abuse when they're 70? So I think there's some things that we still need to work out and to get clear on, because many abusers, you're right, don't consider themselves abusers. And many of us, when we see abuse, may not be sure if it really is abuse or not. I guess, you know, why is that person afraid to report it? Is the abuser someone that they themselves depend on? Are they afraid that the person will turn on them? If they're afraid to report it, maybe I can report it for them. But then there's the question, you know, it's a real question. When you report it, then what? Will that make the situation better or worse? And that's a real question in a lot of people's minds. Are the authorities going to be responsive? When they respond, are they just going to come and peek, say what's going on here, and then leave the abuser and the abused in the situation for the abuser now to take out their frustration, their anger at being told upon on the abused person? So it's a hard question. I guess I would have to be clearer onto what the situation is in Barbados in terms of who I report to and how effective they are when these things are reported, and then what is the situation of the person involved. It's delicate. I'm Adrian Green on behalf of None in Three.
This is an EU-funded project.